okay? You all right? It's getting hot. Don't worry, we'll turn the air on after this, okay? I love you. Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. Welcome to episode 237 of the Love and Stitches podcast. Today I am joined by my buddy Toaster. We're in the van today, which I know is not very exciting, but we're kind of having to record this podcast while we're in transition on the road. So we're actually in Bismarck, North Dakota right now, which is our 33rd state, I believe. We've been to 3 different states in the past week. It's been a really busy and exciting week. Sock week has also started this week, like it just started today. So there's so much going on. Therefore, today it was just about, actually the last few days and the days going forward have just been about like surviving kind of. So hence podcast in the van. But the positive thing is that Toaster gets to be with us here. He's just had his breakfast and he is, looks like he's going to go ahead and take a little nap here. Today's podcast episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for growing your business online. Squarespace makes it super easy to create a beautiful website, sell digital or physical products, and share your creative content with your audience. I'll be sharing more about how I use Squarespace later on in the video. For now, let's get into the episode. It's been another week where I've just been focusing on 2 projects, basically. I don't know the future of my project making, but it seems like at least for the next little while, I'm probably just going to be focused on a handful of projects. So the podcast may be a little bit shorter. Maybe that's better for you. Maybe it fits into your schedule a little bit better. But don't worry, I'm sure there will still be long episodes here and there. Now that we're putting out 3 videos a week, I feel like there is lots and lots to watch. So hopefully you're not left with open hours of things to watch. Who am I kidding? There's always a trillion things to watch on YouTube. So it will be okay. So this week I finished a pair of socks. These are the Shell Yeah socks by Leah Gibson. And I was almost at the end. Like I think working on the toe last week. I just needed to finish it. I knit them according to pattern all the way up until the toe where I did the ergonomic toe that I like to do, which just means that the decreases are not even on either side of the toe. They're less frequent on the big toe side, more frequent on the pinky toe side. So they kind of go like this. It's very subtle, but it does create a right and left sock that leaves me with less extra fabric around my pinky toe, which I like a lot. So that's the only modification that I made. Otherwise, I worked these according to pattern. And I used Wool and Works Sock Week 2024 colorway called Electric Horizon. And then I believe the mini was called like Shepherd's Delight or something like that. I split the 100-gram skein into 2 50-gram balls, and this is what's left of my 50-gram ball. So lots left still. And then this is what's left of my 20-gram. I did make the smallest size. So I believe if you're making anything bigger than that, you're going to need more than 20 grams for the contrast color. You could always, I don't know, modify, add in a second color. I've seen people do like take a sock set that has 2 contrast colors and alternate the stripes. That could also work. But these were so much fun to make. I got these finished ahead of Sock Week because Sock Week just started today. And then that brings me into my second sock project. I'm so proud of myself. I've been keeping super organized. Just up above me here is where I keep all of my yarny stuff. And even though I have been buying and getting some yarn, everything is fitting still in that cubby space, which is excellent. So my little basket here is just a catch-all. It holds onto some of my tools and my soap when I wash and block things. So my finished socks are just going in there as well as my leftovers. And when I go home next, I'm going to like organize them more. So basically why I wanted to show you that is as soon as I finished those pair of socks, they came out of this project bag and my new socks went into it. I don't know why this also delights me so much that I don't have like extra project bags around, but it does delight me. And it's something that I'm working on as far as like traveling goes to have as little stuff as possible. And so it's working and I'm so happy about that. I don't know why I did this. It's working. That's what I meant to do. Working. Anyway, I started another pair of socks. My goal was to finish the first sock before sock week began. So I had a whole week to do that and then make the second sock during sock week, which as I'm recording, just started today. And I have more or less finished this first sock. I do need to graft the toe, but that's it. So these are our second sock week pattern, the Adventure Boot Socks by Maggie Fangman. And I have called them in some places the Adventure Boot Socks because it took me a while to realize that there was another R, Adventurer Boot Socks. So these are really fun. They have a really subtle color work pattern that is worked with a combination of, you know, stranded color work and slip stitches, which is different. I've never done that before. I definitely am glad that I went through the first sock before sock week because it let me kind of get through a little of the bumps of like learning a new sock pattern, learning a new technique and all of that. Now I feel really good about being able to start and finish this sock over the course of the next week. So I'm following everything to pattern. I am making the smallest size. There's a little purl bump detail here in the back. I'm hoping that on my second sock, I can make it a little bit tidier. I did a heel flap and gusset like the pattern calls for, which if you know me, I haven't done heel flap and gussets in years. I did them on the Shell Yeah socks. I'm doing them on this and I have some observations. So I have maybe for the past 3+ years, I've been doing the Fish Slips Kiss heel, which is a pattern by Socks Therapist. And I love that heel so much. It is quick. It is easy to put into any pattern. It looks really nice with contrast colors. Oh, I don't know if you can hear the ambulance. Oh gosh. And I like it. It fits me pretty well. Since in the last 2 years, I've started making modifications to my socks, adding increasing and decreasing to basically create a gusset, to give myself more space with a short row heel. It's something that's pretty easy to modify. But all in all, I really, really like it. Now, the reason I've been avoiding the heel flop and gusset is because I just haven't done it in so long. I remember when I used to do it years ago, it just took a really long time. I didn't enjoy picking up stitches. It was always hard for me to count how many rows I'd done in the heel flap. Like I'd always get confused. And so when I discovered the Fish Slips Kiss heel, I was sold and done. So only recently have I started doing a heel flap and gusset again. And some of those things that I feel about it are still true. I actually am surprised that I don't mind making the heel flap as much as I used to. I actually kind of like doing the slip stitches and, doing this kind of heel flap where it has the lovely texture. I do really like the way it fits. I can admit that a heel flap and gusset is a really nice fit. It just gives you more space and all of that, but it takes longer, a lot longer. And I'm realizing that it's not just the heel part, like the actual short row heel wedge compared to heel flap and heel turn. Those two things, I think side by side are somewhat similar in time. What takes so much longer is that because this heel flap is so shallow, I have about 20 extra rows, maybe 15 extra rows of knitting, to do in the foot, which is kind of a lot. That's a good chunk of change, about 30 minutes extra. And really at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal, but it was funny because I'm comparing making these socks to all the socks I've made in the past couple of years where I'm doing like 60 something rows for my foot. And then in the Shell Yeah socks, I had to do 80 rows and that one had a pattern in it. So I think that's why I had to do a little bit more. In these, I've done about 70 rows. So that's not so bad. It's not that different, but it is still more. And it's just interesting, just an observation. So I have been kind of enjoying learning, going back to something that I've done in the past, learning new things about myself and about my knitting. And I have to say that I'm not completely anti heel flap and gusset any longer. So this sock, I've pretty much worked a pattern. Again, I have done my ergonomic toe. I don't know if you can sort of tell that this side is a little bit steeper. Nah, you can't really tell. This side goes in more. basically the decrease rate is different. I always put a little marker on my pinky toe side. So then when I do the next sock, I know which side needs more of the decreases and so on. So I'll be grafting this today, and then I will be starting sock number 2 here in probably the late afternoon. So the yarn is also one of our sock week yarns. It's from Yarnaceous, also Maggie, who designed the pattern. And it is a beautiful colorway inspired by Petrified Forest National Park, one that we have been to, and it's amazing. And then it comes with 2 minis, a purplish darker gray and then a light gray. This one actually is I think very purple, and they kind of blend in just like really nicely with the main color. So I'm gonna have a ton of this left over, given that I've already gone through this sock, and look how much is still in the main skein. So tons and tons of yarn. What I like to do a lot of times with my sock yarn, just in general, is share it with friends. So for the first sock set that I showed you, I had already wound off, or had already split it into 2 50-gram skeins, because I think I must have wound the first 50 grams by hand. So I just didn't wind the rest of the hank. I just left it as a hank, twisted it back up. And so I sent that off to my friend Amy in New Jersey, because when she saw mine, when I was at her house working on them, visiting her not too long ago, she was like, those are so cute. So I just sent it on to her and surprised her. And she, I think, started a pair of socks today for sock week. So that's really fun. So if you have friends, knitting and crochet friends to share your yarn with, that's always a nice thing to do. Or I don't know, I may just collect leftovers for the next little while. And then later on, I'll do a little cleanup. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's podcast. I am coming up on a year of using Squarespace, and every time I go to create something new, I just keep finding things better and better. This week, I have been working on a Yarny events page with the help of my virtual assistant, Karina. I was able to add her as a user of the Knitty Natty site so that she can help me work on my Squarespace site from all the way on the other side of the US. Squarespace has templates for everything, including pages and sections, which is how Karina got the format for the events page. This one is called Tour Dates. As someone who is brand new to Squarespace, Karina was able to get this webpage created and completed in under an hour. It just doesn't get easier than that. So if you've never created a website before, don't be stressed. Squarespace makes it so easy to get started with just a few clicks. Squarespace has a huge range of options, whether you're looking to sell physical products like yarn or stitch markers, or create a membership space or sell courses. I also love that Squarespace makes it super simple to buy a domain. They have no hidden fees or price spikes. You can choose from anything like a .com all the way to a .org, or even something more custom like a .art. It's safe to say that I am super happy with making the switch over to Squarespace after a whole year of using it. So if you're ready, you can head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/nittynatty for 10% off your first website or domain. Thank you again to Squarespace for being a returning sponsor of the podcast. And now back to the video. The main event this week is the same as last week, and it is my Traveler Hoodie by Andrea Mowry. Okay. Let's get this thing up here to show you. It is so very big. Ta-da! Okay. Oh, I love it so much. It's so scrunchy and squishy. So this is going to be a hoodie. It is by Andrea Mowry. It is one of many patterns in her Traveler collection. I am making the version that has the hood. There is a version that's like no hood, not a crew neck, but something like that. But I am planning to do the hooded version. The yarn that I am using, let's see if I can find it. Oh, so many things in here, is Mountain Meadow Wool. We just actually put out our store tour for them just a couple days ago. And it is their Cody base, which is a 2-ply, they call it Mountain Merino. It's Rambouillet and something else. They said in the video, and I was like, I'm going to remember. And I don't remember. Rambouillet and Cormo? I don't remember. They say in the video. But anyway, it is all wool from Wyoming, which is really cool. And this is a natural light gray that they have blended up together. So where I was last week, I'm so proud of myself, was this right here, my little s'more. Actually, I think I'm gonna probably change out my marker. I think I need a new marker, a little something fresh for this next week. But I was right down here. I finished the body. It's really wide and really short. It's a cropped sweater, oversized, and I think it's gonna be something that I really, really like. And then you work flat, okay, split and work flat. And I finished the entire front here. It's a little squished up because I've just got it on the like the cord. So I finished the entire front. And then now I am working on the flat part of the back. So just got a little bit of that started. When working the body and the front and the back before you do all the increasing or decreasing, it is such a great project to just carry around. I think that's why I've gotten so much done on it, because we've been in the car a lot, we've been with friends a lot, we've been doing a lot of activities, but this project is so simple and easy, at least in those portions, that it's allowed me to just bring it with me everywhere, work on it wherever we go. It doesn't take a lot of brain power, and that's been really fun for me. Like, I've really, really enjoyed this project, and I've enjoyed the yarn, and I am continuing to enjoy it. Just when you're kind of, getting tired of what you're doing, you move on to the next thing. So that's been really, really fun. A couple of things actually that I've discovered. So one, I did not make this up myself. Somebody totally taught me this, but I've got light bulb stitch markers here in my interchangeable needles. Now, the reason that I did that is I needed this as a stitch holder, but the end caps that come with these interchangeable needles are really bulky. They're pretty. They're these wooden end caps, but they're big. And my working yarn would keep getting twisted around them. And that was driving me crazy as I was working on the other needle. So like you can see here, I've got the back stitches on needles, flip it around. I've got the front stitches left on the cord. You could just leave them on the needle. Like, I have enough needle tips to leave them here, but that was also in my way. So I just found when I just slipped a light bulb stitch marker through here instead, it's completely not bothered me. It has not been in my way, and I love that so much. So whoever I saw that did that, thank you, because you're totally making knitting more enjoyable for me. Now, the other thing I learned this week is something that Andrea Mowry included in the pattern, and I'm not gonna share exactly how it's done, but I'm just going to generally talk about it. I don't know if this is a technique she's come up with, but it's probably in other patterns, but I've never done it before. It's the first time that I've done it. So, when you're binding off for a neckline or an underarm or whatever, you kind of end up with this like stair-steppy bind off thing, because you might bind off a few stitches, work across the row, come back, bind off a few more stitches, and it just makes this like stair step look. The thing that she does is with the first stitch, you do this really cool like slip and pass the stitch over kind of thing. And then it just creates this really smooth edge. Like, look how smooth that is. I've never done that before, and I thought it was really, really cool. I'm curious to see how it's going to either enhance or make more difficult the neck pickup later on. But we'll see when we get to it. So far, I really enjoyed that. So since I made so much progress on this over the last week, ironically, I haven't worked on it, I think, at all in the last 2 days, but I started to think delusionally a little bit about when I could get this finished, because in 2 weeks, hold on, let me see. Today is July 21st. So much dog hair on my phone. In about 2.5 weeks, we are going to be flying to Flock in Seattle, from there to Alaska, and then from there to Hawaii. So we're going on this big long trip, and it would be so fun to bring this hoodie as a finished hoodie, something that I can wear. Probably going to be too hot in Seattle, but in Alaska and also in parts of Hawaii when we're going to be hiking, it's going to be really cold. So it'd be fun to have that finished to bring and take some really epic pictures. So I was like, you know what? I think I can get it done. I'm working on this so quickly. I bet I can finish the back. So that's the portion I'm on now. I bet I can finish the back in the next few days. Then I'll have a solid 2 weeks to do the sleeves. I can do one sleeve in 1 week, one sleeve in the other week. I'll be done with the sweater. And then it clicked. I have a whole hood to do because that's not something I normally do on sweaters. I haven't made a hoodie since like I think, high school. So it's been many, many years. And so now I'm like, dang, I don't think I can actually get that done in time. But there's a little voice in the back of my head that says maybe I could. So I'm going to see, after we get through tomorrow, I should have a little more breathing room in my day-to-day where I'll get to knit a little bit more. The past few days have been really crazy. So I will see what I can get done in the next few days and maybe try to make a plan from there. I am hoping that by the time I record the next podcast a week from now, I will be done with the back and onto the first sleeve. This week has been a wild week because we have been to 3 states. We've filmed 3 yarn store tours. Whenever I sit down and I like put together everything we've done in the week, I'm like, oh gosh, no wonder I'm feeling kind of frazzled right now. And honestly, with all that we've done, I feel like I'm doing really, really good. So we started out the week by traveling to our 31st state of Wisconsin. Both Kent and I have been to Wisconsin before. I've only been for a little bit. We picked up our van actually in Wisconsin and drove it back to Tennessee. So it was good to be back. We went straight directly to our yarn store that we were visiting that day, which was Cream City Yarns in Brookfield, just outside of Milwaukee. They have an open like stitch time on Sunday afternoons, and there were so many people there. It was wild. We walked in and it was like packed. I mean, people had been bringing their own chairs in from outside of the car. I went and got a camp chair, ended up like spending a little time sitting, a lot of time standing and talking to people, and people got to meet Toaster, and it was so much fun. The next morning we filmed our yarn store tour there. So that will be coming out in a few weeks. It's a really, really cute shop. And we really enjoyed getting to know everyone there. And then that same day we headed into Milwaukee to meet our friends Addie of Ruby and Roses and Devin, her husband, for a birthday celebration. It was Addie's 21st birthday, and we had planned long ago, like I want to say back at Rhinebeck or maybe it wasn't Rhinebeck. Was it Rhinebeck? We spent Rhinebeck, or a little bit after Rhinebeck, we spent in New York City together, the 4 of us. And then we also got a house together for Rose City Yarn Crawl in March. So maybe it was in March that we planned this. But we had planned to meet up for her 21st birthday, and they love Milwaukee. So we thought Milwaukee would be a fantastic place to do it. It was also our first time in Milwaukee, so it was cool to see the city. And we had a lot of fun. Basically, we just ate and knit and got to try drinks, got to introduce Addie to a lot of my favorite things. So that was really, really, really fun. We also got to walk around the pier on the lake there. What lake is that? Michigan, I think. That was really beautiful. And we also just drove around and looked at a lot of the different neighborhoods. There were a lot of really cool houses in and outside of Milwaukee. So that was a lot of fun. So we spent a few days together doing that. Not a lot of sleeping, so definitely was tired after those few days. A few things that I learned about Milwaukee/Wisconsin. I love learning things about states, like regional words, foods, and all of those things. So I didn't know that Cream City, which is, I think, a Milwaukee term. Cream City is not because of the dairy, because Wisconsin is very much known for dairy. It is actually for the cream-colored bricks that are made locally in that area. So Cream City Yarns has those bricks as their exterior. They were actually an old schoolhouse, so you'll get to hear more about that in the tour, but it was really interesting to find that out. So it does work, I guess, as a double meaning because of the dairy, but they are known for Cream City bricks, or cream-colored bricks. The other thing that I did not know about Milwaukee, and also, again, maybe Wisconsin as a whole, is that they are known for Bloody Marys. I had no idea. So the Bloody Marys there, you can get them all different types of ways. One thing I really did not like about going to the Northeast is that almost all the Bloody Marys have horseradish in them. And if you get them spicy, they just put horseradish in them. And I'm like, that's not what I want. I don't want the horseradish. I just want them spicy, no horseradish. So Now that I know that, I can order it properly, but that was something new for me in the Northeast. So in Wisconsin, you can order them however you want. And then you can also get them with all these wild toppings on top. We went to a place where they had a lot of different choices, and they were also very not expensive. You could get a whole entire fried chicken on top if you wanted to. We did not do that, but it was really fun to try those. So after that, we went to our 32nd state of Minnesota. This was brand new for me. Never been to Minnesota before. Toaster's never been to Minnesota before. So it's the first time for us, not for Kent though. He has been growing up, he went for hockey. So that was really great. We went into Minnesota and we filmed at a store in North Branch, which is 45 minutes or so north of the Twin Cities. It is called Warm and Woolly, and it is a newer store. They just opened in October of last year. So they're coming up on a year here really, really soon. And it was a wonderful shop. Caitlin, the owner, is primarily a crocheter, and she just brings something so refreshing and nice into the yarn community. So far, I don't think we've been to any stores where the shop owner is primarily a crocheter. We have been to some where they may be into another fiber related craft, but typically I feel like I experience a lot that most yarn store owners are knitters primarily. And again, that's just my perspective and what I'm seeing. I am primarily a knitter myself, so that may skew what I'm seeing as well. But it was nice to see a crocheter and a crochet designer. She also does a lot of Tunisian crochet, be a yarn shop owner, and just what that meant for the store, what that meant for the community. So she brings in a lot of people that are both knitters and crocheters, and they have on Fridays a open stitch time to come in from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to midnight, which I have never seen before at a yarn store. Midnight is so incredibly late, but she said it's just nice for people to be able to come and stay for a long time. So that was really cool. We did not get to stay for that. We had to head off to our next location, but we did film a tour there. And again, that will be coming up very soon. We finished up the week here in North Dakota, in Nome, North Dakota. It's a really small town. I think it's population 60 or less people. But we went to a really cool space called the Nome Schoolhouse. And it is part yarn store, part fiber mill, part hotel. But they really are focused on fiber events. So they have a lot of classes, they have retreats. It's a beautiful space. And it's an old renovated schoolhouse that the two ladies, Chris and Teresa, literally have put their own sweat and manpower into, and just created such a beautiful space. So we got to tour the whole facility with the two of them, interview them, and that will all be coming up. So very, very busy week. And I forgot, actually, I wanted to show you the yarn that I got along the way. So let's go back to I knew I was going to do that. Wisconsin. And this yarn is from Cream City that I got. It is from Stitch Stuff Yarn, who is a Wisconsin-based dyer. Does it say where they are? I don't know. I don't think so, but I just really like this color because it's really bright and really fun, and it's called Lulu. So that is set aside for probably my blanket. Then in Minnesota, I got this one from Cashmere and Coconuts, who is a Minnesota-based dyer. This was a special colorway for the store. It's called Welcome Home. So the dyer made this for Warm and Woolly, which is why I had to get this one. But she also had lots of really fine, bright colors and, more muted colors like this. Really beautiful dyer. And then at the Nome Schoolhouse, and again, you're going to see all of this very, very soon. They do make yarn in the fiber mill, but the yarn was non-superwash, which is not what I'm looking for in my blanket. So instead, I ended up getting a needle felting kit, and this is so cool. The one of the owners, Teresa, has a farm, and they have I think she said 200 and something sheep. A lot of sheep. And they take the wool from Teresa's farm, bring it to the Nome Schoolhouse, process it there, and turn it into fiber for their needle felting kits, fiber for spinning, and also yarn, and lots of other things, so many things. They also gave us some car coasters because they don't, like, nothing goes to waste there. So they gave us all these car coasters, which is really fun. They make, if you're a needle felter, they make wool needle felting mats that are more sustainable than the foam ones and so much comfier to use. So they gave me one of their little kits, which Teresa designed. She's Bear Creek Felting. You may, if you've heard of her, you may have in the needle felting world. This is a new realm that I've never gone into before, but I'm really excited to do this. So it comes with everything you need. So Kent and I are probably going to make this together and probably go to Teresa's website and learn how to do it. So I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be a fun, like, rainy day activity. I think it's going to take me longer than a day, but it's really, really cool. So much fun this week. Coming up, we're going to be going to, the next week is a lot of national parks. So we're doing like really intense filming schedule, national parks. Then we have another week where we're going to 3 more yarn store tours. And then we're back in Nashville for like a couple days. And then we're off to Flock, Hawaii, or Alaska and Hawaii. And then we're back on the road again. So it's going to be a wild time. I'll try to share as much as I can here and on Instagram as always, but you may not see as much as normal because it has been kind of just a lot. And basically I'm just trying to get through every moment by being present with where I am. And that means sometimes that I'm not capturing it for Instagram or YouTube, but I will do my best. This week's newest videos are a tour at Mountain Meadow Wool, which is the yarn that I'm using for my travelers. It is such a cool place. They get all of their sheep from Wyoming and Montana, and they have a massive, it's the biggest the biggest mill that we have been to, at least us personally, and shared on this channel. And it's just fascinating. Karen, the owner, was really awesome. She's going to be writing a book about her experience. They do their own yarn. They make yarn for other people. They make yarn, like Farmer's Daughter uses one of their bases and dyes it. Like, they just are so influential in the, like, ecosystem of wool in that area that I don't know, they're just really, really special. You okay? You all right? It's getting hot. Don't worry. We'll turn the air on after this. Okay. I love you. We also have to kind of span out our air conditioning throughout the day because we're not staying at a campsite tonight. So we have to like reserve it for when like Toaster's in here left alone and stuff. Yeah, it's a little sweaty. It's a little sweaty, isn't it? I know. It's what you got to do. Okay, the other video this week is a day in the life vlog. I want to start incorporating these day in the life vlogs throughout, our travels. Sometimes, like this one, for example, was basically a day where we were driving and filming at a yarn store and then driving again. So can't say it's the most exciting day we've ever had, but it is very realistic in capturing what a work day looks like for us. This one, for example, we started at 5 o'clock in the morning, like not working, but like getting up and getting ready and driving. And then we didn't go to bed until almost midnight. And like, that's very typical for us. So we'll have days like that. And then we'll have days like, I'm hoping Tuesday, I just get to go into the national park and that's it. And like, just have a great time. So I want to incorporate more day in the life so we can share more of our travels and also more of the behind the scenes of what life looks like for us right now. So hope you enjoy that one. It was a fun one to film, and it's always interesting. It's always interesting to go back and look at like how a day went at the end of the day, right? That's why I love Vlogmas so much. It's just so much fun. All right. Sock Week 2024 has started this week. It started on Sunday, July 21st, and it goes through Sunday, July 28th. It's not too late to join us if you want. If you are seeing this on Thursday when this podcast goes out, maybe you want to make a shorty sock because there are only a couple of days left, but we're having a lot of fun. We started our events yesterday. We have another one coming up this afternoon, and it's a really, really great time. The finished sock form is now open. So if you are participating in Sock Week, remember, every time you finish a sock, submit your form. If you're planning to make multiple socks throughout the week, I would suggest going ahead and doing a form every time you finish so that your entries are spread apart. I feel like that sort of gives you a better chance to win a prize. So we'll see. I'm going to be announcing prizes hopefully next Monday. I should be coordinating them next Monday, but it may take me another day to share them. So I maybe we'll share them on here too. That might be a good thing. But usually I share them on Instagram and most people get back to me right away. So we'll see if I share them on here. Okay, let's talk about events. So very exciting. As you saw earlier, we now have an events page on knittynatty.com. What this is going to allow me to do is, one, not have to read through everything at the end of the podcast, because I feel like that's kind of boring and not the best way to get information to everybody. So now there's going to be a space where I can add events as you share them with me, and then you can always go back and reference them and have a really easy place to find all of those things. The other thing that this allows me to do is kind of keep up with everything that happens in the past year. And then next year, hopefully it'll be very easy for me to go and find new dates, etc., for everything. So I'm really hoping to keep this as updated as possible, and refresh and just a resource for you. So I have to give credit to all of you for sending me all of the information. It's so helpful when you share with me different events. The best place is to email me always, because that's just easier for my workflow, is to take it from an email on my computer and then put it onto the website. But if you DM me on Instagram, that's okay too. It just may take me longer to get up and I may miss it, but either way is totally fine. And then I also have to thank my virtual assistant, Karina, who is so awesome. She helps me with a lot of things like administrative behind the scenes, but mostly with the membership. And she helped me create this webpage. So it's thanks to her that it got done this quickly, because I was like, I don't think it's going to take a long time, but I just can't, like, there's just so many other things that are fighting for my attention right now that I just need somebody else to get this started for me. And she did such a fantastic job. So thank you, Karina, so much. So I will have the new webpage linked down below, and I will just always keep it in the description box as an easy place to find these events. But I do want to cover what's going on in July. And then also, because this is the last podcast of July, what's coming up in August. So very quickly, there are a lot of events because a lot of these are all summer long. We have the Slow Yarn Crawl PNW in Washington and Oregon, May 24th through September 2nd. The Cowboy Yarn Crawl in Wyoming, May 27th through September 2nd. The Maine Yarn Cruise, July 1st through October 14th. The Arkansas Yarn Crawl coming up this weekend, July 19th through the 27th, I guess this week and into next week. The Chicago Yarn Crawl, same thing, July 20th through the 28th, are happening now and going on through the weekend. Sock Week, July 21st through the 28th. The Steel Valley Yarn Crawl in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is July 26th through August 4th. The Heartland Yarn Adventure is in Michigan, Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio, July 26th through August 4th. The Mid-Iowa Yarn Shop Hop, August 1st through the 3rd. Fiber Eureka is in Eureka, Montana, August 3rd and 4th. The Wild and Woolly Colorado Yarn Crawl is in Denver, Colorado. That is August 3rd through the 11th. The I-91 Shop Hop is in Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, August 6th through the 7th. The Flock Fiber Festival, I will be there. It is in Seattle, Washington, August 9th through the 11th. I will be there for Saturday and Sunday. We will be filming. I will also be there for the event. I think it's on Saturday night. The Pearl, Indiana Yarn Crawl, I went on that one last year. It's awesome. Is in Southern Indiana, August 9th through the 17th. Michigan Fiber Festival is in Allegan County, August 14th through the 18th. The Oklahoma Yarn Crawl is happening August 16th and 17th, and then 19th to the 24th. The Texas Yarn Trail is in Southeast Texas, August 22nd through the 28th. That's all I've got for July and August. And again, even more events going beyond that will be linked down below. All right, I think that is everything for today's podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!